Hey, good morning, everybody. Here we are, Friday morning, and it's good to be back with you. Here we are. We have this great opportunity God's given us today to get another dose of God's Word. And this morning, I've got with me Nicholas Edwards. As a matter of fact, he's going to be starting a gospel meeting with us tonight, Friday night tonight at 7 o'clock here at the Westside Church of Christ. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But he's going to help me out this morning. We're going to talk about some things. And this morning, we want to look at a conversation the Jews was having with Pilate. Jesus has been arrested. And over here in Matthew chapter 27, specifically, there's one verse that we want to look at, but we'll back up and start reading a little bit in verse 15. It says, "Now at the feast, the governor was accustomed to releasing to the multitude one prisoner whom they wished. And at that time they had a notorious prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they had gathered together, Pilate said to them, 'Whom do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ?'" Now, if we just kind of stopped right there and just kind of looked at ourselves, it seems like the obvious answer would be not Barabbas. But here's these religious people, the religious leaders of the day, and if we kind of put ourselves in their shoes or bring us to modern times, no doubt everybody would say, "Well, yeah, release Jesus. We want Jesus. We don't want this guy, right?" After all the miracles and things and all the good that he has done, certainly no. Keep that Barabbas guy locked up. Turn Jesus loose to us. But that's not what happened, is it? No. And so he goes on, and he says this, verse 18. He says, "For he knew that they had handed him over because of envy." Now that's interesting, isn't it, Nicholas?
It is.
Why would these religious people why would they be envious of him?
His righteousness.
They certainly did not like to be told they were wrong. We have many occasions. Matthew 23, you've got a whole chapter dedicated to that very concept. And when the Sadducees come and ask him about the resurrection, Jesus told them, like he did on many occasions, "Have you not read?" So here's these schooled religious people. They're the ones that everybody looks up to, but yet here they are. They're envious of Jesus. What you got?
It reminds me in Hebrews chapter 11 of Cain and Abel.
Oh, yeah.
Like in verse 4, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, for which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by he being dead yet speaking. Sometimes when a person is righteous, it tends to shed light on those who are unrighteous. Tends to rebuke them. And oftentimes people maybe feel pressure from that. Right? Mm-hmm. They aren't doing as good, or they see the praise or the acceptance from one because of his good works. And that can tend to provoke that envy, that jealousy. Mm-hmm. And rather than accepting that and taking the responsibility to do better, they just try to push it away. They don't want to have anything to do with it. They don't want to accept it. They get angry rather than having an honest and good heart.
Yep.
We see maybe that, like we talk about with Jesus, he was righteous, he was teaching them the things they should do, and they didn't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And rather than having an honest and good heart and hearing it and receiving it, like in Acts 2, they're more like those in Acts 7, they don't want to hear it, they get stiff-necked, and they refuse.
Absolutely. Like the high priest, I believe it was John 18, said, "We've got to do something." Paraphrase was it? "We've got to do something about this guy, or the Romans are going to take our position away." And that mindset is still just as live and well today as it always has. Is that there's those out there that are in these positions that they're wanting the glory, they're wanting the praise, they're wanting all these types of things, and then like you point out, they want to try to squash that. Mm-hmm. That makes them look bad instead of coming into the truth or the light. Yeah. And he goes on, we go on here, verse 19 says, "While he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent to him, saying, have nothing to do with that just man, for I have suffered many things today in a dream because of him. But the chief priest and the elders persuaded the multitudes that they should ask for Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said to them, which of the two do you want me to release to you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said to them, what then shall I do with Jesus, who is called Christ? They all said to him, let him be crucified. And so here we have this is a great example of how dangerous it is to just take at face value what somebody in a religious position, so to speak, whatever they say, well, that must be true. That how dangerous it is to just fall into that mindset. Well, they're the religious leaders. They're the one that knows the Bible. They're the ones that's in the know with everything that's going on with Jesus. So they've got to be right about this. And so here they've got the people to just absolutely reject Jesus, most of them anyway. And we see that in the religious world today. Just you bring up the topic of baptism, and if there's one topic that people vehemently oppose and deny, it's baptism. And where did they get that from? Their pastors, the religious leaders, and so on. Yeah.
It just always really boggles my mind how far that mindset goes, and how, like you see in verse 25 and Matthew 27, his blood be on us and on our children. I mean, see how far they get away and the length they're willing to go to. His blood be on us and on our children.
Yeah. What a very dangerous path to go through. And then Pilate asked this question, why? What evil has he done?
Yeah.
He hadn't done any evil other than just basically called them out. And it's interesting, back in John 5, and I believe it's in verse 34, Jesus said, I say these things that you may be saved.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the people that were plotting to kill him. Back up just a few verses. The things I say that you may be saved. And so here we find, with all these things put together, that these people really, these religious, they weren't concerned about truth. They weren't concerned about salvation. They were concerned about themselves.
That's exactly right. And to that point, it's like in John 3, verse 19, this is the condemnation that light is coming into the world, and men love darkness rather than light.
Yep.
Because their deeds were evil. And Ephesians 3, or verse chapter 5, Ephesians 5, verse 13. For all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. And whatsoever does make manifest is light.
Yeah.
The Lord as the light is making manifest their evil deeds, and their deeds are evil and they don't like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so we look at this thing and we think, oh, how could we can see this in those people, but the hard thing is can we see in ourselves asking for Barabbas? That's a very, very difficult thing to see in ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Is I don't believe that, I don't like that, I don't think that's what Jesus is saying, or whatever. It's the same. It might be different words, but it's the same meaning. Give me Barabbas, and not Jesus. That's tough to see. It's a big pill to swallow. Once we see that, but it's one of them things that we can be right in that crowd amongst them as well by our rejection of the things that Jesus may be teaching that we need to see.
That's right.
Yeah. What you find?
Well, I was just thinking, where's the passage? Hebrews 10.
Oh, yeah.
God, the blood of the covenant was you sanctified by holy thing, and come despite the spirit of grace. Talking about verse 26, because we sin willfully.
Yeah.
And at times we do that same thing, sin willfully and trample underfoot the Son of God.
Absolutely. Yeah. No one's immune from that. Yeah. So, but there's your dose of God's word today. Hope it'll do you some good. I hope it'll get your wheels turning, and hopefully that it'll get us all to look at ourselves in the mirror of God's word, and that we not be in that crowd when we come across things that Jesus teaches that maybe we don't like or we don't agree with, maybe we've been taught different, but Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so we may not understand it. We just need to accept it, that he's not going to lie to us. And so hopefully this will do you some good. And Lord willing, we'll get back Monday morning and get us another dose of God's word. But like I said earlier, in our study, we got Nicholas here. He's going to be starting our gospel meeting tonight. It's going to run tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And what are you going to be talking about tonight, Nicholas?
We're going to be talking about life starts here. Not long ago, my family and I were in a building in downtown Terre Haute, and they had a sign up that said life starts here. Evidently, someone thinks life starts in a building in Terre Haute, and it doesn't. And have you considered the fact that as your life started, you could be dead while you're living? Something that Paul said
Yeah, 1 Timothy 5, you talk about this widows.
That's exactly right. The widows.
Yeah.
Dead while she living.
Yeah.
It's awesome for us to be dead while we're living. And that's why life needs to start. So come tonight and learn where life starts.
Absolutely. We'll be looking forward to it. And that'll be at 7 o'clock tonight. So, but anyway, hope to see you tonight. And hopefully you have a good day, good weekend. Come see us Saturday and Sunday as well. Sunday, our normal times. And Lord willing, we'll get back Monday. And we'll get another dose of God's word. Till then, hope you have a great day.